Hi everyone, how you doing today? My name is Dano, your irreverend on the internet. No, I'm not looking to replace anyone in your life, but I do hope that I can give you some insights to help your understanding and survival of this daily life. This is evidence, interpretation, decisions, God's presence in our lives, and getting through this thing called life. I read an article by a Michael Hidalgo about about God giving you more than you can handle. And I wanted to work through that, so that's why I'm making this video. I just want to give proper credit to all you people who never have any problems or feelings of being overwhelmed. Let me say congratulations. Well done. You can click off this video. I cannot improve on your perfection. To the rest of you, myself included, there is a lot that happens in our lives that is not only difficult, it can stop you in your tracks. I know this because I seem to have my fair share of events that make me want to curl up inside a closet. Now, this is not because I'm not a good person. This is not because my Christian faith is fake. And this is not because there's a conspiracy of the world that everybody is against me. We all have to deal with these things, whether we cause them or someone else decides to make our lives miserable. Now, let me get back to the religion aspect. Religion, or having faith, does not shield you from heartache. Now, it does not matter if you went to a Catholic school or a religious school for 18 years and you attended church during those 18 years. You probably still have circumstances in life that are overwhelming. It does not matter if you went to church your entire life and you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or 60s. At times, everything seems to crumble. It does not matter if you never had any exposure to religion and that you have no need for God. Maybe that's where you are in your life. Your world still, I'm certain, at times seems to fall apart just like any other person's, religious or not. Welcome to the real world. There's been a time in your life, I'm sure, I can't handle this anymore. I don't know what to do. When circumstances in life are overwhelming and everything seems to be crumbling, you've been there. I've been there. The world seems to be falling apart. Maybe it's happened to you recently. Maybe it's happening right now. I'm sure, and I know it's happened. Now, because of my training in religion and theology, you're probably expecting me to say something like, it's okay. God won't give you more than you can handle. Well, I'm not going to say that, because God never said that. And it's times like these situations where good-meaning people, good God-fearing people, often share their version of the Bible instead of what the Bible actually says. Now, the Bible is not meant to be confusing, but some people, full of good intentions, they do that. And the people with whom they speak are sometimes confused, or even worse, they don't care about the Bible because of that interaction. And as long as people are misquoting the Bible and not giving full understanding to what it says, then other people are never going to have reason to read it. Now, I personally don't like that, and I've seen it a lot in a lot of different churches that I have been part of. I want to end overused phrases that don't provide comfort. They might provide comfort to the person speaking them, but the person to whom they're speaking, there's no comfort. So let's circle back to where we started this. If I'm discouraged and someone says to me, well, God won't give you more than you can handle. And I believe that's true for whatever reason. Someone says God won't give you more than you can handle, and I start thinking, well, but I can't handle it. So why am I failing? See, the words offer no help. And truthfully, sometimes I do feel like I'm drowning. I gasp for breath, and you get the mental image of someone drowning. Sometimes I do struggle making it through each day, waiting for the pain to end. You know, the pain never ends. The specifics change, but the pain seems to always be there. And people who quote the Bible back to me, good intentions, good people, they just are not doing what they think they're doing. So the words of encouragement are anything but, and sometimes can do the exact opposite of what's intended. So, and I know I'm touching on a lot of different subjects here, but I'm going to really dial in on where we started. The worst part is that if I accept and believe these words, God will never give you anything you can't handle, I ignore my own suffering, like it's not even there. Well, God said this, so it's all good. I can handle this on my own. But that's not the truth. We can't handle it. Otherwise, we wouldn't feel as badly as we do. Like, some people have trouble just getting up in the morning. Thankfully, I'm not there currently, but I've been there. We're just putting my feet on the floor is a struggle. So we can't handle life's circumstances on our own. And that's good. It's a good thing that we can't. And if we can accept that and we believe it, that's very important. Because if we can handle everything and anything that comes our way, we have no need for God. So let's just do a quick honesty check, quick reality check. Now be honest. Deep down, I come to you honestly. When you're alone, think to yourself, in those moments, you've never felt those feelings of helplessness, or your world's crumbling, or some circumstances are just out of control and you don't know what to do and you're overwhelmed and you're just kind of ready to give up. Now, some people will say, well, yeah, I had that. I did that, but I had a weak moment. I picked myself up, dusted myself off, and just started doing what I needed to do because I am in control. Being confident and a persevering person, those are great traits to have. They really, truly are. But if you have these situations where you feel overwhelmed and out of control, that might be a wake-up call from God. And some people, in their ego and their I can do this on my own, they're missing that wake-up call from God. Because we can't make it by ourselves. We're not created that way. And we need to realize that. And we need to believe it. And we need to accept it. When life calls, with all of the things that can happen, we're probably and usually not ready for it. The big things, the cancers, the illnesses, the deaths, divorce, drugs, accidents. Maybe your job is bad, or maybe you don't have a job. And people just doing bad things. Why does this happen to us? Because nobody chooses it. So here's the big point. We're not made to survive our life on earth by ourselves. Now, some do it, but God made us to interact with each other, and more importantly, to be a friend, a good friend, to those in need. Did you get the big point? Be a good friend to those who hurt. Now, I am not a counselor who can help you find friends. And you need to spend time with your current group of friends to realize who is hurting and who isn't. So let's move forward a little bit. What do? If we find ourselves face to face with someone because of their pain, of their circumstances, well, sometimes there's nothing to say. We all want to fill the silence, but sometimes we're powerless. Sometimes all we can do is sit in silence, and maybe we'll cry with them, and there's no shame in that, crying or weeping with a friend who hurts. And we should cry with them, or maybe they need to cry out to someone. Do anything, but don't convince them. Don't say to them that they can handle it. Yeah, they'll get through it. But getting through it with God's help is what God intends. Don't send the message, you can do this, buckle up, stand up, get through it. That's not the message. Now, why is this even a topic? Because this happened to Jesus. Jesus felt despair and loneliness and being so overwhelmed that he wanted to just give up. And if he can do it, if he can be there, then it's okay if you're there. And it's okay if I'm there. Jesus did not stand up and say, I can handle this on my own. The night before he was crucified, he prayed to God. He was really just crying out to God because he was struggling. But even before he was praying to God, he told his friends, my soul is crushed with grief to the point of death. Wow. My soul is crushed with grief to the point of death. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds all too familiar to me. And when Jesus did pray to God, he asked God to take away the pain and the suffering. The very thing Jesus came to earth for was too much for him to handle. And he asked God to take it away from him. But in the end, Jesus said to God, well, if not, then my situation is what it is because you, God, want it this way. And God then gave Jesus the strength to endure. God's word found in the Bible is truth. The truth can be a bitter pill to swallow. And as the movie says, sometimes we can't handle the truth. When we start asking, why would God allow ... we're missing God's promise. At some point, stay with me here. At some point, we become aware that we cannot handle a situation. It's real. It's right in front of us. The difficulty is accepting it. We don't want to accept any real situation that we can't handle. But when we do, when we have that genuine moment of awareness that we cannot handle a situation, there is a chance to find God. And God will meet us right there, right where we are. God met Jesus in his moment of pain, and he can do the same for you. And when he does, as with Jesus, It is not to promise to take the pain away. The moment, instead, is for us to realize and recognize that we need to depend on God constantly. This is not easy. I struggle with it daily. When I hurt, God seems far away. And if I don't have a friend that I can talk to, I know that I can always turn to God. So this is where you can step in for someone else. If you're struggling with this or anything, find someone to share the burden with you. But not just anyone. You need to find somebody who knows you, even if they don't know the situation. Now, if somebody comes to you with a problem, do not turn them away. This is your friend, and they trust you enough to share their situation with you. Now, I understand some people share too much information with people they don't really know, and if this is the case, you'll need to graciously find a way to let them know that you hear them, but you're not the person to provide them with the help that they seem to need. Some people don't understand boundaries, and they are difficult to deal with. In the middle of pain and suffering, when you're there, in the middle of pain and suffering, you can help carry the weight of your friend. A friend that you know, and a friend that you've spent time with. And when you do that, you become part of God's healing. Walking along with somebody who's in pain, that's very difficult. Very, very difficult. And helping them to shoulder their struggle is a burden. But let God display love, His love through you. And He will display His love through you. And He will display His love through all of us if we can do this. And it's not easy. I'm not saying you can walk away from this video and just start doing it with everybody you know. It doesn't work that way. But we can become proof that when life sometimes becomes too much for us, God is there. We need to believe that, we need to accept that, and we need to share that. Now, if you've made it this far in the video and you're thinking to yourself, well, I have my social media friends or I have a group that we all hang out and we have adult beverages or we go to the clubs and you don't really need any of this. I'm just going to ask, how's that working out for you? Because earlier I asked you to be honest, to honestly ask yourself if you've ever had moments of being overwhelmed. I know you have, because you're human, and that's just part of our normal existence. God reaches out to us in different ways, so the question becomes, how did you respond? Did you respond like Jesus in the garden the night before He was crucified, crying out to God? Or did you just say, I am strong and independent, and I can get through anything? Turning to God is accepting that there is someone in control, even though we don't understand the who, what, where, when, how, or why of God's plan. Yes, God will give you more than you can handle. So what's your next step? My name is Dano. Thanks for tuning in to the Dano Wings channel. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please share this video and my channel with your friends. I do appreciate you hanging out with me, and I look forward to seeing you real soon.